When it comes to predicting the rule, this is about as easy as it gets because look at these choices. They are long and they are jumbled. Long jumbled answers basically points to just one rule, modifiers. And remember, this is the rule where we have some sort of intro clause and it's describing something. And then whatever it's describing is what we need to make sure we talk about right as the sentence begins. So if we look here, we can kind of see that format, right? Here's the modifier. Let me highlight it in green. A coming-of-age story, a social meditation, and a sober gaze into the dark maw of French colonialism. It's an annoying modifier because it's got some other commas that make us think maybe it's over with, but nope, it's just a list, so that's okay. So that long thing is a description. A description of what? Try to turn the modifier into a question. What is a coming-of-age story, social meditation, sober gaze into the dark maw of French colonialism? So I'm going to stop it with, what is this story? What is the story? Morocco is not a story. A novel could be a story, so let's keep that one in. Craibi, I don't think is a story. What is that? That's a person, an author, right? So that's not right. And published is not a story. That's just a verb, so it doesn't make any sense. So it's got to be B. And notice I didn't really look past, 1, 2, 3, the third word. So that's how powerful this predict the rule strategy can be, is if you know this modifier rule and you can spot it when it comes up in the answer choices, you can answer this question. There's a lot of reading, right? In just a few seconds because you don't need to do all that reading. So you probably want to check it over, but I do want to point out one thing before I read this whole sentence. Why did I skip these words here? Charibi's debut novel, right? I said that after the comma, we have to talk about the thing that the description was about, right? We need to just have the descriptor has to be followed by the thing we're describing. But it seems like it's not, right? The novel is 3 words deep. So what gives? Well, one of the traps that the SAT sets with this rule is they use apostrophes to mess with us. Basically, what an apostrophe does in a situation like this is it turns a noun like Craibi, it turns that person's name into an adjective. Right? It's still a noun technically, but it becomes an adjective. It becomes like a descriptor of the novel, right? So it makes us think we're talking about the person right after the comma. But technically, that's just some adjectives, like the word debut is also an adjective that's on the real noun, the real thing that's starting that sentence off, the novel. And that's what we're talking about is the novel. So even though B and C kind of look the same, right? They both seem to start with that person's name. That apostrophe S makes a really big difference. And sometimes that means that we can get rid of a choice because it looks like it, we want to talk about the author, but then we can get rid of B because it's not really the author starting it. But in this case, the apostrophe actually saves us and allows us to talk about the novel. So that is a little bit of a twist, but yeah, this is a good example of a question where because I can predict the rule, all of those twists and traps didn't really bother me. I had a single-minded plan for this question and I executed it and I would be able to move on in maybe 20 seconds.